7 o'clock on the dot. It is Tuesday, September 14th. Welcome to Marketing Made Easy. This is Joey Ragona. Welcome to the show. And we are talking about marketing. We are talking about mindsets, copy, all kinds of cool things to help you grow your business. And thank you for being here live. Thank you for being here on the replay, by the way. I'm already setting that one up. And if you are here live, let us know that you're live and say something in the chat. Say hello. We'd love to give you some props that you are here for supporting us. And the replay, all you gotta do is hit hashtag replay. I think that'll help us get it to more people and share our wisdom, share your knowledge and everything else with the world, all about marketing. And there is my good friend Scott Vogel sitting in the blue room, as always, ready to go. This one's going to be a fire one. This one's going to be a fire one because we've been talking about this all day long, Scott, the Superpower Matrix. Are you ready to go again for a whole other round of this? We've been doing this all day long.
I am totally ready, Joey, to go again, because when we did the first Dream Client Connection call last week, hi, Monica, again. When we did the first call last week and the introduction of the Superpower Matrix to the Dream Client Connection members, I just saw it as so powerful. And you and I talked and said, let's just do, I was like, first of all, we talked about doing a bonus call, which we did today, which was based on, we knew from experience that a lot of people, even though they pay for a program, they're going to go take a look at it and go, you know, I've kind of done stuff like that, or maybe just glance over it and just make a few quick notes and say, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go to the next step. When the importance of, you know, not only is the dream client just so vital to anything marketing related, now we're dialing into it and saying the Superpower Matrix has so many different applications throughout everything you're doing, through your Atlas journey, your copy, your everything, your story, your email. It's amazing how much value comes out of this one little quadrant.
Thank you.
Who'd have thunk that it was, because again, Joey, I printed out so many pieces of paper from so many things that are in notebooks and that, and doing the exercise. And when I saw yours, and then we saw Kimmy's, which people were just like, my God, that was so helpful, Kimmy. And Kimmy, if you're watching or that, everybody just loved it, and it inspired them and gave them permission to look at these from a different lens other than, okay, let me list in the box. I could probably put 6 gifts and this, that. Good, I'm done.
Right.
Just really. And then I said to you on a different call or the same call, Joey, we need to do a show on this alone because how powerful it is. In fact, on the call today, Mireya said that, and I really loved it. It's already buried in my pad and paper and things. But what she said was she realized that her, let me just see here, her unique personality was formed by her unique experiences.
Right.
And I thought that was, in its simplicity, so powerful, because in looking at the grid here, the matrix, you're listing your personality, and then you look at your experience and say, you know, because of that experience, when I was 10 years old at my birthday party, when I almost drowned one of my best friends and just playing a game in the pool, and ambulances of that and ruined it, I learned that you really need to be really cognizant of the other person's situation and not just your own, you know, silliness and playfulness. And then just the connection today was really important. Hi, Susan. Anyway, if you would, Joey, thank you for getting me excited with, I could have just said, yes, Joey, I'm excited to be here again after we spent an hour and 30, 40 minutes today talking about the Superpower Matrix, because it really is so. And we talk, I think what I really love about this, Joey, is we talk so much about other people's formulas and stuff.
Right.
And this one is really what you've come to put together as a powerful part of Dream Client Connection and Atlas, and that I think I'm more passionate about it because whatever you put out just makes so much sense.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
And
that.
even when I saw yours, and then I saw Kimmy's, and normally I'd be like, okay, I got this, I'm good.
Right.
And I went and did it and realized that even at the first pass, it was like, gosh, there's so much more. There's so much more. And no, that probably has nothing to do with anything, but in the end, it is everything to do with everything.
Right. And even Monica is saying that it's like so powerful and it gets deeper and deeper every single time. And so let me ask you this. I'll say you're quote unquote new to it, and you just did the exercise yourself. Like, how would you describe what this is and how we're using this in marketing?
Wow. I would just, wow. Of course, you turned the question around because I was about to say, so Joey, would you explain to me what this superpower matrix is that you developed? I was leading up to that.
It's okay. I'll answer the question too, but I want to hear it from you.
First off, that it's in 4 different quadrants, and some superpowers can be in different places. Unique personality could also be a gift. I'm an empath. That's a gift, and that's also part of my personality. And not having to keep everything in one category. And then when we were on the call today, I was just writing things down at the bottom in the middle that I didn't know yet where they're going to go. And
Right.
playing with this for more than, again, I did it before the call. I shut down purposely so that I made sure that I was part of it and could talk with it. We didn't have the opportunity to talk about ours because there was so much going on. Unique experience I've done before. I have, gosh, hundreds. I've been so blessed over my life to be able to do so much.
Right.
Your story, it could be as simple as the first cruise with my son as the ship left the dock and I held him in my arms, and the picture of him in awe and wonder could be turned into anything. We talk about looking for content and how to connect with people, which is the Dream Client Connection. Well, this is it. This is the foundation. And when I started to see today that by having all of these, we kind of started talking about these are all parts of the story, which in essence they are.
Right.
When we're out there connecting with people, I remember somebody on the call today, and I won't bring up names, was saying they're trying so hard to sell people a thing.
Right.
Instead of, let me just kind of tell you about this thing that happened to me when I was 10, or this thing that happened, or last week what happened. And all of a sudden, your dream client is going, holy crap, that's what happened to me, or that's just like me. God, I really like this dude or this dudette. And the power of this in taking these superpowers, which are, but then learning really how to talk about them, in not saying, well, here's my superpower. I am able to bring structure into this and that, but more of when I was a little kid, my grandfather would come out on the weekends and he would fix things. And I always loved when he came out because I'd help him fix things. And we would, whatever it was, I learned a process on how to.
So that's a superpower of yours. Your process is what came from that story or from that unique experience, right? Of like what you do today really, really well, which is processes.
Yeah, which I could say, I'm really good at doing processes and systems and organization. And someone's like, okay, great. Or, gosh, I remember the one time when he came over and we were planning this and that. And all of a sudden I realized that we had to do this, this, and this. And now, many years later, I'm like, wow, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, when I was little, I used to do gardening with my mom. And now I know why I love flowers so much and why I have a power. And all of a sudden, then we're taking these superpowers and putting them into everything.
Right.
And that kind of gel today. If I'm sending an email, I could just tell a little quick snippet of something. Or the time when I was due to fly to Fort Lee, Virginia on September 11th. Obviously, I didn't go. And it was 3 days later when the airport's open. I was one of the first ones in the airport. and I had to arrive 3 hours early, and it took me 3 minutes to get through, and then what? And then when I got to my destination and how the things had changed, and I could take that story right there and turn it into anything I want.
Right. Exactly.
Because there's just so many elements. And Monica's saying, doing the Superpower Matrix opened my eyes to myself a lot more. I had no idea how many unique things there were and how they will influence all of my social media, emails, blog, and I feel so much freer in communicating. Bingo, Monica, because that's what this is. It's fuel for everything from here on in. I thought, Joey, it was like, yeah, we need to define the dream client so that we can write a mission statement, an escalator speech, and do our vision and our exit strategy, and let's move on. When, gosh, I'm looking at mine as on the unique personality. One of the things that I talk about that you could write emails forever with little quick thingies. Hey, this thing happened and this, and it taught me this, or I realized this and I came to know this, and I'd really like to show you this. That's it.
Yeah. And the personality side of it is passion. And you talk about it every single episode, which is
my passion for my yoga.
Right. Like that. And that's part of who you are, and that could easily tie into anything you want. Why are you so passionate about yoga? It could, there's so many things that could stem from just that one passion. And it could be as simple as, you know what? I care so much about being healthy and energized and all that. And even when it's like I'm in a room that is 151 degrees, I'm still going to go through it, right? And all this stuff. And it relates back to, well, I didn't want to get up and do my business today, whatever, right?
Exactly. Because you could take that and say, and I'm sure that some of you listening to this or reading this didn't really want to get up and do this thing today that you knew was going to do to help you succeed. And then, just like going into a 151-degree room every day and saying, what is this going to do for me is going to be so over the top, amazing, incredible, that let me be a little uncomfortable for
exactly
time to reap the insane benefits.
Yeah.
Anybody watching that, and again, Joey, people say, Scott, I'm jealous of you because of the life that I have manifested and created in what I love to do. And they admire and respect, and I'm an inspiration. And I'm not saying that out of any ego or grandiosity. It's just that those are the people that are like, God, I kind of would like to chat with this dude, or maybe engage with this dude, or whatever he's playing with. I'm interested in, because that's kind of like how I like to live life.
Right. Right. And so how do you relate this to marketing? Like, I mean, Monica kind of already alluded to it here, what it kind of does for you. So how would you describe it as a marketing tool?
Every single online asset I can populate with all of this information. I could do one and go, okay, I have a unique process that I call succinctivization journey. And I'm going to share that with you today and give you a couple of tips to help you learn a process today that will help you today get some result. And then I can go, do a blog post on Jeffersonization, which is my belief in this, which leads to copy. Then I could jump down to my unique experiences, and my gosh.
Yeah. And the thing is that, what I just took out from that little piece there was the jump part. It doesn't mean that you're sharing all of those quadrants in one pass. It doesn't mean you don't. It doesn't mean that you can't do that, cannot not do that, whenever, double negatives or triple negatives. But and so I want to make that clear to everybody too, that it's not where you're telling the story that goes from gifts to personality to experience to process. And it doesn't mean you can't do that either.
You can't. There's no right to this. It's just, I was just jumping back and forth.
Sure.
I remember I was in California, and I was sure that my flight was Sunday at 4:00 p.m. to fly out of LAX to go somewhere else. And I get there, and my flight was Saturday. It left 24 hours earlier. and there was no other flights, and I'm stuck in California till the next day. Everything was finished where I was, and I can relate that to anything. Is there ever a time in your life when you showed up for something and
Yeah.
it's just because it's so personal and it's vulnerable and transparent, and it gives the people, again, there's going to be somebody out there that likes smoking cigarettes and drinking and eating to excess. They're not going to connect with me talking about being in that studio every day and my passion for it and heart-centeredness. They might be heart-centered, but they're going to be like, that's maybe it'll attract, maybe it'll repel. Who knows?
One of the things that when I was creating this matrix or whatever it was, and it took years, right? It's always about unpacking what we've already done.
Yeah.
And it was from one of the processes of getting into this of like, what am I great at? What are my unique abilities? And, I reference Dan Sullivan's Unique Ability 2.0 all the time, which is where I started to really dig heavily into it. But it was a combination of that as well. But then I realized that when I was getting feedback on what I was good at doing, I never really thought I was a good teacher. I still don't think I'm a great teacher or whatever, but I would get feedback that, dude, it's just like the way you connect things and the story or the analogies or however it is. And then when I unpacked that, it was always because I was telling a story related to my personal experience, like the one I told you guys today with the flying through the glass and
Right.
the DJ or whatever, like all these little things. Because as somebody would ask me a question or something, I would always remember, and I still do it to this day, is like, well, you know what, this reminds me of this thing, and then I would kind of connect it, and because it would be different than the regular story we always hear. Well, a dream client or ideal client is, would you go into a bar and ask them to marry you with this? Like you hear the same story over and over
Right.
and over again. But when you can connect your personalities and your uniqueness and your unique story to the same thing or to the point you're trying to make, it makes a world of difference and people connect to you. And like you said, it may not always just be about yoga, even though you're passionate about that. The world knows that, but you have other experiences, like you have a million of them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's where this power comes in, is by sharing those little bits of information that connect to whatever it is you're trying to put into the world as marketing.
I would like to see this expanded. I believe, from looking at it and what I've got in front of me, I remember I remember sitting in a parking lot waiting for my former wife, and I was sitting there doing an assignment of one of Brendan's courses, which was write 100 benefits for your thing. And I remember sitting there writing 100. If he had given me 4 little things here, I probably would have done 15 and said, I'm good. Because I think that this needs to be a tremendous amount.
Yeah, so it's just that, yeah, you're not confined to this little amount in the boxes. They're just represented as all of these, however many you have, 100 of each thing or whatever, combined together make you that unique person and marketing persona out there that is not a fake. It's not a mask. It's who you truly are. And because of that, your dream clients connect with many of those pieces of the quadrants. That's what makes it so powerful, because even like some people that were on the call today, they mentioned, people tell me this about me, and we asked, like, what does that do for you now? And they would say, well, now I can just be me. I can just do that and know that the people will resonate with that. And there's no more selling, because you've already got this feedback from people in your world that have said, this is what's great about you. This is what I love about you. So if that's true, then that means that if you continue to do those things that really attracted them, then you're going to attract a whole bunch more people if you focus just on being you. And this helps you define who you are.
Because, and Joey, what I'm really loving more and more about it is, as you said, you can use this anywhere to display your superpowers without calling them that. And then again,
Right.
I could pepper in sales messages and it'll be okay. But it goes to what you said and you've said many times, you show up, whatever, whether your hair looks great, whether you got a hat on, whether you've shaved or not, whatever t-shirt we're in this environment, being us.
Yes.
And what would happen then if everywhere they went, they saw the real you? And it was a story, and it was a this, and it was a that. And then in one of them, it's like, hey, we're about to release this incredible thing that you should take advantage of. That's when you start to attain what we called in one of our calls, the Buddhaship. They're going to follow. I have people messaging me constantly saying, I missed the thing on the thing you just released.
Yeah.
You need to get in on the thing. I know, because they know when it's over, it's over.
Right. Yeah.
I don't play games with that. And
yeah.
So all of these little pieces in here that, we can go, like I said, into any social media platform, any email, any live, and just get on and talk about one of these things here that can easily connect with what's going on with our dream client. And
right.
They're going to your whole philosophy of they will find you, because rather than just the typical emails all about selling, your emails are about lessons. They're about life. They're about connecting, hence the dream client connection. And now all of a sudden the dream client wants to be a part of you.
Right. And by the way, if you want a copy of the Superpower Matrix, just DM me or Scott with the word super, and we'll get you a copy of the Superpower Matrix. Even better, come and join us in the Facebook group, where we are a unique tribe of heart-centered individuals out there to serve the world, trying to help each other. And we're in there every day helping each other with our businesses. So join us there if you're not already a part of that unique strategic marketing club, and we'll help you with the business. If there's any questions that you have regarding your business, the Superpower Matrix, what you're seeing here, if you got any questions or even some insight on it, if you're working on it, if you're part of Atlas or Dream Client Connection, let us know. We'd love to hear your comments, as Monica has already put up some there. Thank you for that. We'd love to hear from you. Now,
Joey,
Scott, you also, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
You said you had a question or two about this.
I may have. And that was a long time ago when the questions were there, and now they're no more. Therefore, I'll ask you a question.
Yes.
Would you define each of these 4 uniques?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought there was more to the question. Would you define them? So what they mean is,
like, what is a unique gift? How does somebody that's about to go through this say, how do I find my unique gifts?
Cool. Thank you for that, Tina. Appreciate that. And it's all part of the Superpower Matrix. I use the same things to write emails and everything. But so let me define what these are. The unique gifts are the things that we do easily, the things that we think everybody else knows that we do naturally, that we can do in our sleep. It's things that comes to us so easily that we don't sometimes see them as gifts. Somebody who can do math in their head, to me, is a superhero, because I can't do it. And that's like 95% of the world right now, who can say, what's so hard about that? But to me, it's like, oh my God, you can actually do that math in your head. So it's those things that sometimes we look beyond, that say, well, I've been doing this all my life. What's so special about that? That's what's special about it, is that you could do it without even thinking. So really look at your life and look at the gifts. And as we talked about today on the call, one of the secrets to the gifts as well is that your gifts, many of your gifts, are beside the pains in your life, are beside the things where you got in trouble for doing them, or you would do them and people would call you out on them. And the example I always give is like me being opposite of everybody else, the black sheep of the family, or doing things that I wouldn't follow the crowds, and I would get in trouble for that. Then people would call me out, or like, why can't you just do what everybody else is doing? Why can't you conform? Why can't you be a player and all these other things, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not a player in a group and want to help. It was just that I was always against the grain. So I would get in trouble for that. So if people are listening to this, then I would look at your childhood and you growing up and look at what are the things that I would do that would get me in trouble, because society would always try to knock you back into being normal. Like, don't do that. That's not what everybody else does. Well, that's the point of a gift, right? That's why Iron Man is Iron Man. That's why Spider-Man can fly with webs. That's why Superman is the way he is, right? It's Wonder Woman is like that for a reason. So don't be afraid of your gifts. Do you want me to go on, or do you want and come back to anything questions about the quadrants, or do you want to do the quadrant and then questions about it or clarity?
Whatever you feel you would like to do, Joey.
All right, I'll go through them and then we can come back.
Yes.
The personality is just what it sounds like. Who are you when nobody's watching? Like that's the best way to put it. Like who are you that show up when nobody's watching? And I encourage you to put that out into the world. You know me, Scott. Like you know me more than anybody, and I'm no different as we are in private, as I am right now, as I am in the group, as I am in the training you saw today. It's exactly the same, and I don't hide anything.
Right.
And so that's the big part of it is being okay with this is who I am, and I'm going to show up in the world as that, and understanding that it's not going to align with everybody. There's going to be people who just won't agree with that, or they can't handle it or whatever, and you're like, that's cool, because this is all relating to getting and working with dream clients, the people who will not 100% be like, this is amazing, you are a god and everything you say goes, but they are more aligned with you as close as possible because you are you. And that's what the personality is about, including the passions. Being okay with saying, I like dogs and I don't like cats. But you know what I mean? It's like having that line. I'm passionate about this thing. I'm going to talk about this thing. And if anybody disagrees with me, that's okay, because that's not your passion and you're over there. That's okay. The unique experience, I can't wait to read what Susan just said there. I'm not going to read it now because it'll throw me off. Unique experience is what it sounds like. Again, it's what are the experiences that you have gone through in your life that made you who you are today. And that is pretty easy to look back at. But again, what we talked about today, Scott, you saw that some people would, I think it was Kimmy who helped us or helped some of the group with hers, realizing that there was experiences that weren't business related. It was like totally different or something. And even Monica shared in the group one of her experiences that's not business related at all, but it's part of who she is. And the response that she got in the group was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, you're such an amazing human being. Right. And that brings that tenacity of who she is to the forefront by sharing that little story. And that's what the unique experiences are about. And you can certainly tie them into marketing or a webinar or whatever, into an email kind of thing. And lastly, the unique process is, to me, they're all so important. But when you have a unique process like you do, the Jeffersonification, how do you say that again?
Jeffersonization.
Yeah, Jeffersonization. And I have my club marketing framework. I have all kinds of different frameworks. The right marketing thing is another framework that is a unique process that I do. And when you share that to the world, just like we're sharing here, this is kind of a unique process right now. The Superpower Matrix is a unique process, and we're sharing it with the world. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you stand out, because now everybody knows this is Joey's Superpower Matrix. This is Joey's. Like, if anybody else tries to rip it off, they're going to go, what are you doing? Like, that's what Joey does, right?
Yeah.
And so you share those unique processes to demonstrate to the dream client that you understand them and how you can help them. And by combining all of those things, I might be talking about, I don't know, my ADD, which is a unique gift, and some people might think, well, that's not a good thing. Well, it is a good thing. Or maybe my lack of not being being able to do math or something like that, or my speed of implementation, that I've got no patience. Like, those are gifts. That's also a personality. I'm a very, very impatient person. But what does that do? It helps me help a dream client who is a person who is, dude, I just want to get to the next level. I need someone to push me. I need someone who's not going to sugarcoat it and all that. That's part of my personality. That's who I am. So if I don't tell the world that, if I don't say, look, I got no time for people who are going to sit on the bench. I don't expect you to do everything I'm telling you, but I expect you to move. I expect you to make a decision. If that's not you, you're going to say, Joey is like, he's not for me because I'm not that kind of a person. But a dream client will say, that's the person I need. But if I don't say that in the world, nobody's going to know.
What is important here, again, Joey, is the word unique, in that anybody can talk about their process, their personality, all of these four. It goes, I was at a marketing conference once, and someone was like, well, there's all these people here talking about marketing. Yeah, but nobody's going to talk about it the way I do. My uniqueness.
That's right.
You know, anybody in here is like, if you were starting and going into a market and you were the only one in the market, you and I would be very concerned about it if there was nobody else doing that thing. It's like, I'm going to master and I'm going to dominate the underwater cat hair basket weaving niche. I will dominate the one other person in the world that wants to do it.
Okay, so with that said, let's see what Susan says about I'm going to share something that just happened to me this afternoon, and it's all because of my superpowers. I use all 4 quadrants of the matrix and just got a coaching client for the money I asked for, and I did exactly what Uncle Joey told me to do. Oh, thank you for this validation, and I love you, and bravo on this. What he asked for, when he asked for the fee, I told him, and then I shut up and waited for his response. He said, when do we start? Oh my God, Susan, I wish I could hug you right now. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Virtual hug, Joey.
We can virtual hug. This is so great. Lorna, I'll let you read this one, Scott.
Lorna says, I've had an aha about this a few minutes ago, about how my 911 experience can be used to talk about Facebook ads and launching. I've known my skills have helped, but I hadn't seen how to use it to help others learn about launches, even though I had someone try to get...
we lost that last piece. That's all I've got. And then when I got yikes, she's probably saying,
even though someone tried to get me to use my dispatch experience in my work about 2 years ago. Okay, so she was a dispatcher, 911.
So Lorna, right away, right away, what pops out at me is that you have the skill to listen to someone and get into action and fix the problem like right away. Like that to me is like a 911. You need to like get into action, know what the problem is, know how to fix it like right away. That's a superpower because of the 911 experience.
There is so much that she can do with that. So much.
Yep.
But are you chewing gum also, Lorna?
Then you'll be the trifecta for everything. Thank you, John. Thank you. Even though, there it is. Okay. Yeah. There it was. Okay. Oh my gosh, Susan, congratulations. Yes, big congratulations.
That's both of them, both Lorna, both Susan.
Everybody, love it.
And, everyone. Joey, I'm going to encourage everybody to take this superpower matrix, fill it out, and leave it in front of you for a week. Leave it on your desk, on wherever you write, because it just... Even since I was playing with this afternoon, I'm just like, I've got it here and I'm adding this and I'm that. And I've done this before with, like I said, experiences. I mean, I've got thousands upon thousands. But everything put together all of a sudden makes a huge difference.
Yep. Thank you. What else we have? Okay. What's this one? Oop, right here. Sending you much gratitude, Uncle Joey. You've taught me so much. Thank you. And I'll use it all my rest of my life to live my dream days, dream clients, serve dream clients. I love that. Susan, you're making me so happy because this is, as you know, part of my mission to help you go through. Yeah.
Joey.
Yes.
I want to read something. Listen, okay?
Go ahead.
And sending you, no, put that back up on the screen, please. And sending you so much gratitude, Uncle Joey. You have taught me so much, and I'll use it all the rest of my life to live my dreams and serve my dream clients.
Yeah, I'm choked. I couldn't respond to you for that second.
I didn't want you to. I just wanted you to listen to it without reading it.
Thank you. And thank you, Susan. Thank you, Scott, for making me pause to hear that. Thank you.
Because your superpower is to move so fast because you ran through a class, and now you do this and implementation at the speed of light and you never slow down. So we got to slow you down. So.
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true. Yep, that's it. Asking the questions behind the question. That's what I do. Yeah. And you can get to the root of the problem, Lorna, I bet, really, really quickly. And that's a huge superpower. And it's also, from my understanding, I mean, I wasn't in your situation, but it would be that you can clear away all the clutter. You get to the important parts that matter to get to the solution. And this is even when I coach. That's one of the things that people have seen about me too, is where I like to say, well, I don't need a lot of backstory. I just need, tell me where it is, and I'll jump into your life, and if I need to know any context, I'll ask it. But that's maybe one of the things that we have a gift, both of us, to do. Scott has the same thing. You're the same thing, Scott. You can jump into someone's world. You don't need the context, right?
No.
So it's,
you know what Lorna specializes in? She saves people's lives fast.
Yeah.
That's a piece of that 911. Like you said, she can get in, cut through it, and save their life.
Yep.
Cool stuff.
What else we got? Lorna, so powerful to ask the question behind the question. Very, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move back to this. And did you have any questions in regards to what we were talking about here, or any insights, Scott? Anything like that? Continue with this to help them use this, or what I was talking about? Anything?
What is the overall purpose of getting this done, the Superpower Matrix?
It's to stand out to dream clients. That's the overall, the whole thing is, how do I attract? Because that's the questions that always come up, is how do I stand out to clients? How do I attract the right people? How do I get my product to the right people and all that stuff? And the thing is, Scott, is if you don't have the right people on your quote unquote list in the first place, it's going to be a difficult ride. Yeah. So this part of it is, if you're going out into the world and you're using the unique, the superpower matrix, then the right people are going to automatically follow you, like you, come into your group, get on your list, that kind of thing. Everybody listening to this right now is either repelling from us or they're saying, you guys are pretty cool. It's one or the other, right? And they're going to come into our world some way or another. And then they're kind of the right people, and they hang around, and then they make a decision to go on the journey with us or not. But it's starting with the right people, and that's what this is about for me. What about you? What do you think?
About what?
What is this used for? What's the purpose behind this whole thing?
Everything. For example, I did a live yesterday to our group, one of our groups, and it was basically, hey, experience. We launched this thing a year ago. It's the anniversary, Saturday. 1 year ago, we launched this thing, and here's what we did, and here's the process we went through, and here's all the things we've done, and here's the stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. And oh, by the way, we have another thing coming out this week that you're going to get an opportunity to be a part of. And so I kind of I'm selling something, but I also went in and a unique experience that a year ago, I took a piece of software that was a little app, and now it's a full-blown software company. And they're like, they want to be a part of that. They are a part of it. And so I'm just using that in just a live that I didn't script or anything.
Right.
And then if I, anything that I write, I would pull from here because there's pages for each one of these. And let's use Dan Kennedy's magnetic marketing. It's magnetizing, it's pulling people into you. You're not having to go out and tug them or force them. They are attracted to you because of what you're putting out there. And again, I don't care where it is, you can use it. You're in a conversation in a group and somebody asks you a question. Lorna, somebody asked Lorna a question about Facebook, and she goes, there was this one call I remember. It was an early Monday morning and blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking people are going to be rapt with attention on what the, and then it's like, and it's just like that with running your Facebook ads. It's the same thing. They're going to remember your story. They're going to remember your superpower. And even if they don't make a decision, when they have the pain, when they have the problem, when they're thinking about it, they're going to think about, wait a second, that story Joey told me about this and going through the glass window and just moving too fast. And you know what? I always move too fast. Maybe I need a guy like Joey who understands it and can help me harness that.
Right.
I don't know where you wouldn't use this. And the more we talk about it, that's why I wanted to do this show on it.
You know, one of the things too that come up as you were talking there as a reminder is, as I look back at all these of clues of when this was not in place, like the whole thing, but even on coaching calls where I would just go on a rant, you know, at the beginning of one or two calls here and there, and it was never like the intent was like, let me wrap this into what I'm doing. It was just like, you know what, I'm feeling this thing today, and it reminds me of this thing, and I told a story, and I would go for like 20 minutes or something, and it was a coaching call that people are paying to be there. And I'm like, guys, I'm really sorry that I took up so much of your time. Don't worry, we'll spend some extra time here. But the responses that I would get from telling that story in so much detail was incredible, and had nothing to do with what the thing was about. And so I look back at those things. I don't do it all the time, but it was like I'm sharing a piece of my story of why I'm the way I am, or whatever it is. And or maybe there was a few times I remember going in and saying, I'm not having a really good day. I'm really pissed off because I just saw this, and here's why I'm pissed, and I want to tell you about it. And it would be my personality, my passion. And if anybody was brand new to that or disagreed with me, they'd be gone. They'd probably say, you know what, I'm out of here. I don't like where this guy's going with this stuff. I don't agree with him, whatever. But the point was that I was not afraid to do that. I was not afraid to go into a membership area or whatever and voice my opinion passionately and say, look, guys, you don't agree with me, but here, this is what I believe, this is what I think. Knowing full well that there could be people who say, you know what, I'm out, I'm opting out. I'm not going to be in this membership thingy anymore. Does that make sense?
Total, complete sense.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to worry about what can I not say? No, I just go in and I do it. And the people who don't agree, that's fine. And the thing is, you let go of trying to be someone you're not. I think that's a huge thing, man. Don't be someone you're not just to try to please most of the world or people that you have to bring into your world and drag them around just to get them to buy from you. Be who you are, bring people into your world who are mostly aligned with you, and they will gladly work with you at some point on their time.
They will gladly say, how much is your fee and when do we get started?
Exactly, just like Susan.
Just like Susan. And that's what this is about, because these just grow into so many areas. I challenge anybody to not have at least 100 unique experiences. At least. Yeah. You and I both share ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm treated ADHD. It's one of my superpowers, big time. That's why I've got all these monitors and all these things and can do what I do at the speed that I do. That's
right. And I remember growing up and people giving me crap for dude, like, you're not focused. Like, why are you zoned out? Why are you spaced out? You're not hearing me. You're not listening to me. What's wrong with you? You're ignoring me, whatever. And you know what I mean? And that's part of the ADD, as you know. But now I still go through those things, but I've been able to harness it even more to say, when I'm focused in, and that's awesome. And I don't hear the world. I don't hear nothing. And so I could easily do things that are super hyper focused. And then there are days where it's like there's no focus whatsoever and it's a complete mess. And I just take that as one of those days that says, this is not your day. It's time to go watch and binge watch Seinfeld, like whatever, and that's okay. And Tina says, like the music minutes at the beginning of the call, as was how it was when I first joined the tribe. Yes, the passion we witnessed. Yeah, so that's what I do every single Wednesday call. We start out with me playing club music. That's my vibe, and it's a club, right? So we just open the club and we start with music, and that's what I do. I'm pissed. You just inspired me to write another story. Man, Monica, don't you remember? You've been on almost. You missed one Wednesday call, I think.
Yes.
You must remember a couple of those times when I went on. Remember, and I was like pissed, right? And I just took up 25 minutes of the whole call. Oh my God, it's funny. Do we have any more here? If you have questions regarding the Superpower Matrix, that one, one call. I was going to say, that's the call I missed. No, it wasn't, because there's a couple more, but I read that wrong. Yeah. If you have questions about this or about how to use this or anything regarding your business and marketing, anything like that, please put it into the chat. We would love to help you with it. Let me put this back up on screen. Actually, I'm going to give a plug here so we can get into the group. For anybody who's watching on the replay, please put in #replay. That would be awesome. And if you're loving what we're doing here, give us a like or a thumbs up or something wherever you're watching this, whatever they ask you to do, and maybe even share it with your community or your tribe. That would be so awesome, because we just want to get in front of more heart-centered entrepreneurs and people just like you. And this is where we gather every day. Awesome group of heart-centered people in there, and we're helping each other out. We're not in there to sell things like some groups are doing. And if you want, by the way, a copy of the Superpower Matrix, this thing right over here, all you got to do is DM me the word super. Not that it's massively, you can't figure this out on your own, but if you kind of like to have the PDFs, the official things, let me know and I'll send you a copy of the Superpower Matrix. And maybe I'll even send you a couple of video insights on how to actually use it. Never know the bonuses that you get with old Uncle Joey here.
Wow, Joey, that's powerful stuff.
Right, we got a question. So how can I use my powers with realtors? Yeah, Scott, I'll let you take it first.
Well, what's that?
Let's brainstorm it.
Well, how can I use my powers? What are her superpowers? What are some of them? Her unique gifts, personality, experience, process.
Yeah, that's a big question, is what are they? But everything we've been talking about here, Mazurek, is your story. And it's not just, it's kind of like, I don't want to make it sound like it's just marketing stories and things, but it is that. And it's also where you're just using, how do I explain this? I'll give you a great example of this, because I was still am in the real estate world, in real estate investing though, and I still dealt with realtors and coach them and all that. But I want to relate it to real estate investing. And you've heard me mention many times that I can't do math in my head. So when I went into the investing world, that's all numbers, okay? And I wanted to look professional. And I didn't want anybody to know that I couldn't do that, where I could just do, because there's people that are magic. They could figure out ROIs and you name it, all these mathematical things, like, holy crap. And so when I went to go and meet with people to ask them to invest with me for money, and I would bring them my pro forma thing, and there was always a math mistake on it. No matter what I tried to do, there was always a math mistake, or they would ask me a question that wasn't on the sheet That was a better example. So they asked me a question about something like, what if it's this percentage? And I'm like, oh, well, that just means this. And I could see the people on the other side, they wouldn't say anything, but their eyes would gloss over and they'd be like, oh, okay. And but because I would be making the mistake, like I couldn't do it. Then one day I decided to tell the truth. And I pulled out my calculator. Somebody asked me a question and I said, okay, hang on, let me figure this out for you. And I did it. And I was so afraid of doing that because I didn't want them to think like, can he do this in his head? But here's what happened. So I did that. I showed them the number and I said, I just want to make sure that I'm getting this right because I'm not great on math. So I just want to make sure. What that did, Missouri, was they said, thank you for that. And they also said, it made them more secure and feel more aware or believe that all the numbers on the sheet were right because I admitted that I can't do it in my head, that I was double checking the numbers. Does that make sense? So it made it the sale or whatever more powerful because I used a thing that was like what I thought was a bad thing, but now it's actually a superpower. Wait, I can't do math. So that means every single calculation that I'm going to do it 3 or 4 times to make sure it's right. And I do it right in front of them as well. Let me make sure that was right. Because they'll ask me a question, is that number right? And I go, and instead of me saying, well, of course it is because it's on the spreadsheet, I would say, well, let's double check that. Maybe I got that wrong. I would not be afraid to use that. That's one example of how I used these gifts or whatever you want to call it to speak to investors. Does that help and maybe Scott, you can add to that, but that's one example.
So Joey, I believe that Missouri's in home staging, right? For selling homes. I would think that there is a unique experience in Missouri's past, whether it's childhood, whether it's adolescence, adulthood, whatever, teenage, that caused her to become good at what she does. There's a unique experience that she can share with people. Right. I'm sure that there is a passion for something that relates to it. Not necessarily I have a passion for staging homes, but there's a passion for something. Maybe there is an art background. Maybe there's a design. Maybe there is a unique process. So I'm looking at potentially from 3 of her quadrants that I would be using.
Yeah, like for sure, the unique process is important. It's important for everybody. So Missouri, you've got a unique process, but it might also be, and I don't know if this is true or not, but let's say you are OCD and every time you went into your house or whatever, you wanted everything to be absolutely perfect. So you were always moving furniture around and making it look great so it could be efficient so you can walk around and stuff like that. And to other people or to maybe you, that was a problem. You're like, oh my God, can't you just leave that alone? But now sharing that little story is powerful to the realtor because now it's like, oh, no wonder you take so much detail in placing everything where it should be. So it flows. So the space flows, which is important for any realtor to sell anybody anything because flow is important. And is that if that's one of your what's the word I'm looking for? What's the opposite of superpower or the thing I'm looking for, Scott? Anyway, your kryptonite, right? Like OCD is your kryptonite. The bad thing, it's actually a good thing. Does that make sense? Oh, did we lose Scott? Okay. What happened? I just want to encourage everyone to go over the Superpower Matrix over and over. I think it will become a fabulous tool for years to come. Thank you so much, Monica. And it definitely affects the personal life as well as the business. Can't really separate them, which makes it so fun because you are just you. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. And that's the thing is, this discussion comes up regularly for me where someone might disagree with mixing your personal and your business life together and all that. And I disagree with that. I think it's very important to do that because we are in a world where people want to know who's behind the desk, like who, like that's why we know Elon Musk's and all these dudes. Like it's who's the dude. Like I want to know about him and his life and her life and everything else. So I think it's so important to have that. And so you're right, Monica. I agree with you. Thank you, Collie. And looks like we nailed it with Mazurk. If you got more questions or something that you need more clarity on Mazurk, then let us know. But those are the ideas that I have in my head where don't be afraid of, and it doesn't always have to be Mazurk about like real estate. Your unique experiences, you've got a million of them. It's just looking back at your life. And that's why Scott was bang on with saying, let it sit for a week. And I would say just continuously go back to it. It's a living, breathing document. And it's not just this document, like have your own document of all these experiences that you can tell, stories that you can, and it doesn't have to be the entire story. It could just be pieces of it, but it reminds you of something that can relate to someone going through the situation or a business, that application.
Joey, one of you had suggested that I read a book, which by Jason Fladlien called One to Many.
Yep.
And in it, a lot of what he's talking about, the superpower matrix, could definitely come into this, because he's talking about the helping people to get where they need to go, and it's with your story and it's with your superpowers. And there's so many hidden assets in life's experiences. When I was engaging with a speaking coach, one of the things I had to do was the defining moments of my life, starting from conception and all the way through, and looking at moments that shaped and defined. And that's what's starting to happen here, because people are going to relate to those moments. I'll go back to Mazurk for a minute. I'm sure that she's got a list of gifts that enable her to be as good as she is at what she does. And the same thing, the personality. What is it that we talk about that shares with people who we are, that they'll trust us, that they'll like us, that they'll want to be a part of and listen to what we tell them to do, because they believe and they want to hang out with us and be on the dream island,
right,
with us.
Right.
So we want to be on that same island with them.
Yep. That's exactly right. Are we good here? Anybody else have a question? I don't think I missed anything, did I?
No. Where does the time go, Joey?
I know, it's so amazing. We're already at the top of this hour.
We've talked about Superpower Matrix for 2.5, 3 hours already today.
We're not done yet, because we still got another Dream Client Connection coming up on Thursday, and this is not going away.
No, it's not, and it needs to. It really needs to stay forefront. And Monica was reinforcing to leave it around. I just thought about, my friend had a cabin on the mountain where I was living, and he went to California for 3 months, and I stayed in his cabin, and it was amazing. Except one day I came back, and a water pipe broke, and in the bathroom, the water was frozen like in the movies out of the faucet, and it had flowed over, and it was frozen in the flowing overness. My first thought was, I need to go take a picture of this, because nobody's ever going to believe it. My second thought was, holy crap, we got busted pipes. What am I going to do? And then heaters and this and that. And I don't know what I would relate that to, but somebody's like, holy crap, what happened, and this and that and everything I went through. And it could relate to anything.
Yeah. What about your processes? Like you said, have you listed out the processes in the steps as well? And the reason I'm asking you this is because I just recently, I've got different processes, and I recognize that I'm always answering the same questions, which is, again, part of what we do. If you're an expert, that's why the unique process is there for you to dream clients to recognize that. And so in the unique process of where I'm talking about dream clients, people would be asking, well, what's a dream client? Or yeah, I've got the avatar thing, whatever. And I would always be saying the same thing. or they would ask, how do you get a dream client or something? So I went back into my Evernote and I listed 3 or 4, maybe 5 very simple steps of what the thing is. Starting with, okay, the first thing you need to do is, or I think it was like how to grow your business or whatever it was, but it was related to dream clients. But I remember the first question or answer, which is, you need to understand who your dream client is, and then in brackets, this is not the same as your avatar. Okay. And because I say that all the time. And this morning I got an email actually from, I think yesterday's email or whatever, the day before, because I put that same steps. Actually, I think I got the email, and I'll name the steps. That'll help, won't it?
Yeah.
So let me see if I've got that. Where's my email from Mr. Joey Ragona? Let me see if I can find it. Gosh, here it is. Okay, check this out, man. So here are the steps that I listed. Okay, the key is to know, 1, who your dream client is, brackets. This is not the same as an avatar, by the way. 2, their deep burning desire to solve a crisis, so you don't need to beg or convince them. 3, which one of your superpowers you can use to solve their crisis, so it's easy for you. 4, a unique solution that gets them the fastest results, so you can charge more money and avoid being commoditized. Those are the 4 steps, okay? And that was how you help grow the business or not convince people, all that stuff, right? Those 4 steps. Now, I got an email this morning that says, man, like, what, this is amazing, and I understand avatars and all that, but what really stood out to me is when you said this is not the same as an avatar. Okay, so that one response to me, as well, when one person responds, they're speaking for 10s and 20s of people, right? Like lots of people. I'm like, okay, this is good. So now I've got those 4 steps as a unique process that now I can use everywhere that kind of relates to what I'm talking about. Because then people are going to say, what do you mean a unique solution? Or what do you mean by superpowers connecting with the thing, right? And it opens up a door, but it gives people a process as well. Because you could look at that and go, okay, I kind of get that. That's great. Just like you were nodding your head, right?
Yeah.
And that's an example of how you put together a unique process without going into an entire thing of teaching it. But because I've looked at it so many times, what do I keep telling people about a dream client? What do they need to know?
I've got something called a copy swipe creation system. It just teaches people how to create a copy swipe file for whatever they're writing. It's not rocket science, but it's a process that I created to make it fast and easy.
Right. And you can list the same steps as I just did. Here's 1, 2, 3, go do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how I approach it.
Right. And why is it important to have the swipe file and all these other things?
Yeah.
Because you could relate that to the person who says, my Facebook ads suck. You're like, well, what's the copy? And then it relates to copy. Well, how do you know the right words to use? Well, you need a swipe file, right? All those things relate.
And then I could cover the same argument with 12 copy tests. Well, have you put your Facebook ad through the 12 copy test? No. Well, at least here's the first one. Run it through this one. This is the one everybody screws up. So here, take this one, go figure it out, and that'll help you. And they're like, exactly. Holy crap, what are the other 11 that I need to know if this one was good?
Yep. Or go even further and give them 4 or 5. Here's 5 of them, because you can work on only a certain amount at a time. I don't want to overwhelm you. Here's 5 of them. Go check it out.
Whatever it is, Joey, there's so many. Everything can be taken and discussed as a superpower.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody on this call, in the cohort, in the group, to get on a call with somebody and talk about these, because in the talking about them, your brain's going to go, well, wait a second, what about when I was teaching my first seminar ever and I was scared to death?
Right.
What about the time I showed up here? Or what about the time I was at a baseball game and all the other kids' dads were there and my dad never showed up? And I'm jumping from business to personal to life to this to loss to, when I was 8 years old and my family lied to me when I was at summer camp when I asked how my doggy was. And they said she was fine. And in essence, this, and when I got home and that under a tree, but yeah. Okay. I'm just, all of these are who I am. And if we hide who we are instead of bringing our superpowers and understanding that superpowers isn't just that thing we do in our business that is so good.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the best way to sum it all up is that this is not always about just business. And that's where this breaks free of everything that is being taught mostly about, about how to grow the business or telling a story relating to business, because sometimes it doesn't have to be about the business. It's more for me, at least, how I've built with dream clients, a lot of it has to be about me, and we've talked about this before. So you have to like me as a person, and then my business, and then how I can help you.
Right.
Not the other way around. It's like, do you like me? Do you vibe with me? Do you agree with most of what I'm saying? Or can we joke around? That kind of thing, whatever. And then, oh, by the way, I also do this other thing that actually one of your problems is I can help you fix that. Right. And you're like, dude, I already like who you are. Like, you don't have to convince me of anything at that point. It's just like, right. Oh, that kind of matches what my crisis is.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And to me, that's the difference of what we're doing here in the Superpower Matrix.
Well, instead of trying to sell the product and its features and its benefits, yeah, that's important. You have to understand that and get that tight. So somebody wants to make a decision. It's like, look, I like you. I like your company. I like everything you stand for. And yeah, I'll buy this thing because, yeah. Now, obviously, if they liked you and trusted you in this, and you try to sell them something that was like grossly overpriced or a piece of crap that didn't do what it promised, that's a different story. But when you're delivering something that they're confident in you because they know you, like you, trust you, and all these things we talk about, Joey.
The funny thing is too, Scott, I remember when I was going and doing, before COVID and all that, speaking events, and every single time, because again, the people who would bring me in know me, first of all, very well. And the introduction was nothing like any other introduction, like all the other speakers. I didn't care about my credentials or anything like that. They knew already. And I didn't even tell them, here, say this. They would always say, basically, okay, here's Joey. He's going to come up. And by the way, he's going to tell it like it is. So if you're not ready for it, like, you need be ready. Like, he's not going to hold anything back. This is Joey. It's probably different than what you've ever seen before of all these speakers, not in a bad or good way. Just be prepared. And then I would come up and do the same thing and say, hey guys, look, I'm going to say a lot of kind of stuff here, and probably 80% of you are going to disagree with me and are going to tune out, and that's okay. And I'm not here to convince you. I'm looking for the 20% that agree with me and really like my vibe and where I'm going with that. So I would always just position differently and saying, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And I even told them, if you feel as though that I am in any way offensive or aggressive or anything like that, and you don't like it, please get up and leave. I don't care whether it's in the middle. I don't care. You're not going to offend me because you're not the 20%, and that's okay. And what did that do, Scott? You know as well as I do, 100% of those people at that point are listening.
Yeah.
Right? To see if they're the 20%. And I know that, and then even I would at the end of it, where people would come up and, you get the gathering of the 20, right? Of the 20. And people would literally say, man, I was wondering if I was going to be in that 20% or not. And we'd be having this conversation afterwards. It was just magical because they all agreed with what I was saying. And I love how you did that. I love what your thoughts are. And I didn't care about the 80%. Not that I don't care about them as people, but they just weren't my tribe.
No.
Right? Simple.
Totally. Even within a tribe,
yes,
you have certain segments of that tribe that respond differently to you. Even within the tribe, because we all know that there are heart-centered people who are in the group, they're struggling and they're not yet at a point where, and that's part of what you teach is they're not, as long as they're like-minded and they're heart-centered and they want to, and they taste it, they may not be ready for a multitude of reasons yet.
That's right.
When they're ready, you give them the value, you give them what you give them. And when you get on a live, you're like, hey, I'm sitting out here on my deck today, and I was just thinking about this, and I just want to share it with you. And then people become enamored with you. They want to hang out with Uncle Joey. That just came about one day. I don't remember who started it. It's
Well,
like
I was the one that started it, actually, because it was back in where I think it was with private clients, and maybe it was with Susan. I started talking about it, and it was funny that you say that, because one of my buddies who's known me, like, for forever in the studio time, he messaged me like last week or the other day, and there was a whole thread of Uncle Joey, I think, in the thing last week or something, and he goes, dude, man, this whole Uncle Joey thing. I thought he was gonna like, oh, dude, like, he's like, man, you got to capitalize on that, because that's like the loving uncle. Like, you really got something there. He goes, I don't know who that started that, but you got to really capitalize on that. And I said, it's actually me. I'm the one who started calling myself Uncle Joey, and then it just picked up. And it was like, that's how I felt. It was like, there's the cool uncle sometimes, and then there's the uncle that nobody wants to talk about, right? I wanted to be the cool uncle. And then I felt weird, because it's like, well, what if I'm talking to somebody older than me, or do I really want to be known as the uncle? Am I going to be seen as this old uncle dude? But I just think that uncle part of it is like, yeah, that's the cool uncle. I want to hang with the cool uncle, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Joey, we are once again at the top of the hour on our weekly Dinner with the Boys, Marketing Made Easy, brought to you by Joey Ragona and Strategic Marketing Club.
And Scott Vogel, as always, thank you for your help. You are so awesome. Thank you for bringing this topic to our attention. Thank you for being there on the Dream Client Connection with all your wisdom and awesome input and questions and challenging people. They're loving it. I can tell you that. And we'll see you on Thursday, and everybody watching on the replay. Thank you very much on the replay. Thank you for being here live. Love you. We're here every single Tuesday. If you like what we're doing, please let us know. Please give us a like, maybe a share to your community. And let people know. Let the heart center people in your world know that we're here every single Tuesday night. Wait a second before we go. Hang on. We have congratulations here. So awesome are you? So much learning from the group, and tonight, so grateful to be learning. Love only. Thank you.
That was from Kali, by the way.
Cool.
No, not cool. Kali, not cool.
Joey, you and I were talking with me one time, and you said something about stick with Uncle Joey. Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Stick with Uncle Joey, and I called you that from then on. Right.
I kind of was in the Susan era.
Thanks you so much, and thank you so much. That's it. Another night. Have a great one. We will see you next Tuesday. My days are all getting mixed up.